Guten Tag, konnichiwa, minasan. Watashi no nama wa Gemini desu, soshite Luftrausers e yokoso. I'm going to go ahead and warn you right now, this is going to be a short episode. Shorter than normal, although you may have already noticed that to begin with if you're the type that pays attention to the time code under the scroll bar. If you've ever played this game before, you may understand why. Luftrausers is a shoot-'em-up score attack game developed by a studio based in the Netherlands called Vlambeer. I think I pronounced that right. And published in 2014 by Devolver Digital, who are known primarily for the Serious Sam games. It's available on PS3, PC, and PlayStation Vita for $10. Also for Android, but apparently only for some types of devices. I tried searching for it on my phone, which is a Galaxy S5, and got a message that said the game is not compatible with my device. Oh well. We're looking at the PC version here, of course, and I happen to get it on sale for $2.50. So, let's get into this, shall we? Luftrausers, and yes, I'm probably going to pronounce it just like that every time I say the name, so apologies in advance, is a simple game with simple controls. The up button boosts your plane in whichever direction it's pointed, the left and right buttons turn your plane, and X fires your weapon. The object is quite simply to score as high as possible before you are inevitably shot out of the skies, and trust me, you will eventually be shot down, as the longer you play, the more enemies appear on the screen, and the tougher they get as well. From small aircraft to battleships, even a blimp if you're lucky enough to come across one of those. You can keep track of the damage your plane has sustained via an aura that surrounds it. The closer it is to your plane, the more damaged your plane is. You'll regenerate health over time, but only if you're not firing. When you first start out, your plane will have a standard weapon, body, and engine, but these can later be interchanged with unlockable parts, each of which give your plane different effects and abilities. Once you've unlocked enough parts for a particular section, you can also randomize which part that section has equipped. Even the name of your plane changes depending on the combination of parts you have equipped. My personal favorite is the Sinker plane, comprised of the underwater engine, which nullifies damage you take from going in the water, the melee body, which allows you to ram enemies without harming your own plane, and the cannon, which, although it has a very slow rate of fire, also has a huge AoE, great for taking out multiple enemies at once. The graphics are very basic and retro. The sepia tone and look of the characters are, I suppose, meant to evoke the feel of World War II and dogfighting. If you don't like the color scheme, don't worry. As you level up in the game, you'll occasionally unlock different color palettes, which you can change in the options menu, but to be honest, most of them are just too psychedelically distracting, with the exception maybe of this one. As you might expect with such a retro-looking game, the music is equally 8-bit inspired. Now, I'm not really that big a fan of chiptunes. I don't hate it, I just haven't really heard much of it that I like. But one thing I do find kind of neat about the soundtrack for this game is that, like the name of your plane, the music changes depending on what parts your plane has equipped. Let me give you an example. Here's a sample of what the music sounds like with all the plane's original parts equipped. Now let's switch out the engine to, let's say, the Gungeon. And now we'll switch the weapon to the laser. While I may not really like this type of music that much, you do have to admire attention to little details like that. That's really about all there is to Luftrausers. See? I told you it'd be a short episode. I mean, really, what more is there to talk about? You fly, you shoot, you try to get a high score. Lather, rinse, repeat. Much like FTL, it's a simple game to learn, but incredibly hard to beat. I still haven't done it myself. There's no real story to the game at all. The fun of the game lies in trying to unlock all the plane parts and color palettes, and if you're of a competitive mindset, trying to beat your high score or climb the leaderboard. This is an incredibly fun game, and I'll happily play more of it, but is it worth the $10 price tag? Yeah, kind of, but I feel like it's missing something. Maybe if there were I don't know, just a couple of more parts available for each section of the plane, or if the parts that are available had improved effects. For instance, the underwater engine prevents you from taking damage when you hit the water, but regardless of the engine you have, you still just bounce out of the water once you go in. I'd like to have seen the ability to, perhaps, navigate underwater in addition to the nullified damage from the underwater engine. Just, I don't know, a little something extra somewhere in the game, and I don't think I'd be as iffy about the $10 as much, but as it is, if you're interested in the game, I'd do like I did if I were you and grab it when it's on sale. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy. Holy crap, I barely even talked for 5 minutes. So, what do you guys want to talk about? You know, I suppose I could maybe talk a minute about maybe the value of games like this over titles with more content. For the record, I do not consider this a short game. A short game to me is something more linear, with perhaps a little bit of story to it that you beat in the course of an hour or two. Just look it out there somewhere. If this game were anything like that, I'd be more definite about not liking the $10 price, and in fact, I'd probably be steering you away from it by now. On the other hand, if you want an example of a $10 game with more content and done right, just look at Aquaria. I've spent hours with that game, and I still haven't beaten it. Luftrausers is more of a pick-up-and-play game, something you play when you've got a few minutes to spare. On the surface, it barely seems to have anything to it, so why then are games like it and FTL the same price as a game like Aquaria? That's just it. The hours. Like a lot of things you buy, not just games, the value comes not necessarily from the content of the game, although that certainly helps, but from the time you'll actually spend with it. So maybe, in that regard, Luftrausers really is worth the $10 I paid for it, or would have were it not on sale. I know for a fact I'm definitely going to continue playing it, even if I do feel like something's missing somewhere. But I know you may not feel the same as me, so my advice from earlier still holds true. If you're interested in the game, but you're not too sure of the cost, grab it when it's on sale. Either way, to give a final opinion on the matter, I don't think you'll end up regretting it. Now I think it's safe to say thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to like and share the episode, and of course subscribe to Gemini Does Games, and go check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and like and follow us there as well. 次回まで、私の名前はジェミナイです。ありがとうございました。さようなら。Luftrausers!